would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I am Jason D. McKean. I am the tarot wizard. And, it took me a while to come to that place of where I could say, I am the tarot wizard. When I first started reading tarot,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, I'm a tarot reader. I'm learning tarot. I'm a student and all. But after a while, it's like, I am the tarot wizard.
Yeah.
And what I like about being a wizard, right? Hashtag wizard, right? Is that it's not that I'm saying I am the master. I'm just saying I'm the wizard.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that I have yet to learn, and I'm in the process of learning.
I think that all of us, that are paying attention would see the.
That's the key, right? Is that we're actually paying attention, to our life, that we're showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you brought your cards here today.
I did,
Yeah.
and I pulled one just a few moments ago, and what was it? It was the death card, and just to look at the overall energy, it's like in the deck that I use, the Wizard's Tarot, it is the butterfly. It is the butterfly that emerges from the caterpillar, and we're all encoded to transform, whether it's on a daily basis or where we have like major events in our life that allow for that transformation to just organically happen.
Yeah.
It's something that if we resist it, then we're putting ourselves in a harder spot than we need to.
Yeah.
But usually, we're encoded to become a greater part of ourself. And so I think that's very apropos for the Monarch Art and Wellness Foundation.
Yes. Yeah.
And, I'm really excited to be a part of an upcoming event, and hopefully events, plural.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Multiple. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I've been telling everybody, I was like, I got a wizard coming. So but I'm so excited. Like, this is like, I've always loved magical things, and this event has really become a source of that magic. Like, just seeing everybody come together and the different people that are being called to be involved. It's really something very special. And tarot is something that's always been very special to me, and so I'm very excited to have you a part of this.
Well, thank you, Samantha. Tarot is incredibly magical.
Yeah.
It's very spiritual. It's very practical.
Yeah.
Too. I like to read it in a very practical fashion, where it's not just like, oh, your Alpha and Omega is going to be aligned with your Jupiter and Mars and all that, right? There's value in some of that knowledge, but it's like, who is Samantha, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are, right? It's probably been a lot of people, right? It's like, who do you think you are? No, but like, seriously, it's like, who do you think you are? Who do you know that you are within? And, is that inner self, is that like going out into the world and embodying that identity? And are you making progress with it? Are you creating purpose with it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. The purpose thing, it was funny, I was just talking to somebody, and for a while I was like, what is everybody talking about, this purpose, this life purpose?
This purpose stuff.
What is this? And now I'm putting the foundation together and this event, I was like, oh, I get, I was like,
It's like the lights going off inside. It's like, I get it.
Yeah. I was in the dark for a while. Like, it's the whole time I was headed towards having the awareness of what purpose meant to me in my life and what I was doing. But I kept myself in kind of like I said, like the butterfly in my chrysalis, where it was just all darkness, and I was liquefying all the old parts of myself and reintegrating all the different things I had learned in order to be able to show up for my purpose in a very purposeful way. Like, to be authentically me and to connect with different individuals and really have an idea of what my vision is and what I see others coming to help, with it.
Some people, they have that idea of purpose. They have a connection with it really early on in life. And I find that a vast majority of individuals that they will find themselves doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and some of this, and then it will culminate into an aha moment where it can be sometimes forged with some hard lessons too. And it's like that light bulb when it goes off. It's like that's why I went through that.
Yeah.
And it's like the beauty of that is you can honor all of that experience and create purpose, right?
Yeah.
And usually, we alchemize some of those hard lessons. We take that raw, just kind of and refine it, turn it into something beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, beautifully said. And your book's here. So I read that one.
Shameless plug, right?
Yes, yeah.
So this one, Magic Channel Tarot Reading, is that's a pretty easy read,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it was great. It was very concise, simple to the point. Like I was able to read it and understand what I was reading, so that was really important.
How about that? Someone writing a book that you can actually understand.
Yeah. It's though, like I think some authors try to make it so they're like, I know what I'm talking about, so they use more words than necessary to like try to say I know what I'm talking about. When you really understand something, you can put it in simple terms. And so when I was reading that, I was like, oh, these are concise, simple, like to the point, like no fluffy language in a sense where I have to pull out a dictionary to figure out what you were trying to say with certain words.
Yeah, there is a little glossary in the back
Yeah.
that basically just says, it's like when you have that setup of tarot, you have a reader and you have a querent. Sometimes, the person is reading for themselves, so they're both. But the reader is the one who is like, working the cards, and the querent is the one with the query, the one with the question. And so, that's really like the only terminology that one has to go in depth with, just to understand that relationship of things. But it's like if I were to boil down like the word spirituality, I would boil it down to one word, which is connection, where we feel connected to the divine, to all those layers of that which is within us and also outside of ourselves. Feeling connected, feeling that at the end of every day, it's like we're making a difference, that we matter, that we're able to feel like what we're given as gifts, whether it's our talents, whether it's acquired skills, we're able to utilize that and to be in a place of where we're taking ownership of it and we're utilizing it. We're making it happen in the world.
Yeah. How long ago did you start reading tarot? Like, how did you find it?
So, I mean, I was in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
And I got a deck, and this was back in the day when there were only books, only books, no internet, no YouTube videos where you could kind of like get an idea of seeing other people read it, and it's like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. Having said that, there's so many readers that are different. I find that I'm kind of different too. But the old, the deck, the Celtic Cross, did it for, I don't know, a few months and dropped it because it was too much work. It's a lot of memorization. It's like every card has all these layers of meaning. And the books, you'd pull a card and then you'd rifle through the book and try to, it's like, is it that meaning? Is it that meaning? And it was just like, it's too much work. So I dropped it. Until, later in life when, just having experience, having kind of a different calling at the time. It was like, I can, be with the cards. I can read for people. I like people.
That's good.
It really helps to like people.
Yeah.
And to be okay with, it's not that, one is there to like try to fix people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just kind of sitting with people, creating sacred space,
Yeah.
honoring the process of again, that inner alignment where someone is like, they may be figuring out who they are, or they may know who they are, but it's like, okay, now how do I embody that? How do I put that out there into the world so that I'm, making that difference and creating purpose?
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is I don't think life is about being happy.
Yeah.
I think it's about being fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that brings in purpose. And one will find happiness within that.
Yeah.
But it's not that full goal, because it's like it can be too much.
Yeah, yeah.
You
To
know.
be happy all the time, it kind of takes away from the fullness of life, right? If you're just always happy, the spectrum is void of a whole other color of different experiences in the human emotions.
Yeah, and it's not to say that if one is filled with joy, because I think that for the vast majority of the day, it's like I can smile about things. I can I can bust out laughing about this and that, and when I get together with friends and all, it's like we enjoy that camaraderie and the good times, but it doesn't mean that one can't get serious too, and see when things are very serious, and one needs to act accordingly in those situations.
I agree. So.
See, you're like, so, okay, but what about me?
Oh, it's always It's just, I'm well aware.
That's what I enjoy about Tarot also, is that it's like no one just says, I don't know, I don't want a reading, I don't want to know about myself. It's like, nah, it's like, bring it on.
Yeah.
So hold the cards, or you can just, all right, you've got them.
Yes.
Don't drop them. That deck, the Wizard's Tarot by Llewellyn, it's out of print. And it's like, I've seen decks there on eBay for like $2,500.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so we ask the card, speak to your highest good. One thing I'm very practiced at is the...
Yeah, I was watching it. You have the shuffling down and the fanning.
It's good, right?
Yeah, very smooth.
You learn that in the stores when there's no clients that are coming in. It's usually a feast or famine. And during those famine times when you're just like sitting there going, okay, are there people out in the world who need a reading? It's like, you know what? I'm just going to practice this. All right, so I like to pull 3 cards just to look at you, Samantha. All right. So I'll show you. I'll show like it's like the 10 of Wands coming up. It looks like a lot. It's on your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. Oh, and the Devil card.
Oh, that would come out.
The Devil and the Fool, or in this deck, it's the Initiate.
Why did they make it the Initiate versus the Fool?
Well, it's still kind of the same idea. The Initiate is the one who is at the beginning of the journey, and the Initiate is the student.
Okay.
And there's a lot of freedom in being a student, because you have that permission to be open to learn new things.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to be the master. I resist that. There's certain words that I totally resist. That, and also control. Like having to have control over a situation. It's like there's a lot of things that we can bring our part to it, but just like controlling it, there's just so much stuff. It tends to become like an ego trip, when we do that. So, how we learn to let go and let, the other influences have their say. So why does all this come up here? I mean, it looks like, there's pressure actually on you, right? It's like this weight or this burden.
Yeah.
It's self-imposed too. It's like the wands, they represent the individual passions that we feel called to.
Yeah.
And it's important that when you're given like a new task to do, that you're not carrying stuff from the past.
Yeah.
That no longer is part of your journey.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because recently a lot of my past came back, like old habits and things that I didn't ever appreciate moving away from. So my spirit or soul threw me right back into them, and I was just like, holy shit, I'm in this like hell cycle of all this crazy shit. And then I finally pulled myself out of it, and it was like, I hear, now do you appreciate all the work you did? I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. Like, thank you.
Yeah, and it's like the devil card isn't always just the hell cycle.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's where we take that which is expansive within us, and we say, okay, I need to take this and this and this and this, but start to bring it down to earth.
Yeah.
To start to focus it and to make sure that I'm not just all over the place.
Yeah.
That I am, it's like the person who, as their identity, they say, well, I know how to do this and I know how to do that, and just all this stuff. But come time to make a business card, it's like, do you want to say all these things, or do you want to just hone it in, focus it, so that when you hand it to someone, they know exactly what it is that they would be
getting? You know what my business card says? It says, for a good time, call, text, or email. Literally. That's what I consolidated all my life's work.
All right, I'm not going to, say that that's a bad thing, right?
No.
Except, what does it mean?
It just means that, hey, it's for a good time. You message me, we'll see what happens.
Well, but if you were like out on a job, right?
I would probably still hand it.
Well, okay, you might, right?
Yeah. I'm in a position where I don't have a position, right?
Although, what you're going to bring to that position is a good time.
Yes. That's with the events. I made these. I actually made these business cards years and years before the foundation was even in my mind. It came to me in meditation, and I was like, that would be so funny to put on a card. And then after this foundation started, I was like, well, I want to do these events and give people a good time. I was like, I don't need to make new business cards.
But you'll have to make it with like at least the foundation's like phone
logo,
number on it, or the website.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the idea too, of to make sure that yes, you are like carrying your passions, and you're moving them forward.
Yes.
You're being responsible to them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And also that it is important to put it out there in the world, to have it in concise forms for everyone, who's not going to pick up on what it is that you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
Right? And again, that student, the initiate, it's like it's like taking on new territory.
Yeah.
It's like the best way of seeing that is where one is ready for a new adventure.
Yeah.
And you may not know all the details of it,
Yeah.
but it's like you're willing to move in that direction, and to start to set up the framework for it, and then how it gets inhabited, that framework and all that's not on you to have to control that, right? It's like you can set up various parameters, but let others come in and they bring what they bring to it.
Yeah.
And all. So just looking at you, it's like I actually want you to like pick
Okay.
one or two cards too,
Right.
because I think that's important to do that. So
now, do I?
yeah,
All right.
do you trust yourself?
I do.
All
It's
right.
taken many years, but I definitely can answer that with an authentic I do. What do I upside
no.
down? Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this
So, I like to see a layer of how we navigate the present, how you navigate the present, right? Because the present is where we do the heavy lifting,
one. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's like can't stress this, more, is that our past, it becomes our future unless we deal with it in the present,
Yes.
unless we change it in that moment where it can feel like, I'm afraid, and
Yeah.
that's where the pressure comes in.
Yeah.
And yet, where we do that heavy lifting is where we can alter the course of our life.
Yeah.
And, I see it as like when we know who it is that we are, when we look to embrace that, we ask for opportunities. It's like opportunities, they show up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And one is confronted right there in that moment. It's like, there it is. And am I ready for it? And, there can be fear, right?
Yeah.
It's like, or, there can be like a, yes, finally, this is my lucky break or whatever. And say yes to it, right? And what came up for the folks at home here? It's like the star.
Does the star come after the tower?
The star comes after the tower. The Ace of Wands.
Nice.
Look at all that electricity there that's like crackling off of the wand. And then the Nine of Cups, which is, I'm waiting for you to like fill in the blank there. What is the Nine of Cups?
Well, it looks like there's a lot of choices or things going that are like filling the cups of yourself.
The Nine of Cups is the wish card. So, and you picked it.
I did.
You picked it. I'm going to place it right here, and you're going to like put your hand over it or whatever and make a wish for yourself, Samantha.
Ooh, this is so.
It's like your birthday.
I know.
It's better than your birthday, though.
This is way better. What's funny is the event is a day before my birthday, so it's quite fitting that I would get the wish card here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm not going to ask you what you wished for, but the energy of that, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's saying yes to life.
Yes.
It's welcoming opportunity. This table, it's set, for others to come in to make connection. And the cups, they represent the heart center, and that is where we have our deepest connection with others and with environments and things that we set our heart on, and to be able to allow for that, right, means that you're not like closed off.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Yeah.
you're ready. You're open, and the star card, hope, right? It's like we navigate our life either by those things that we are hopeful for,
Yeah.
or those things that we're fearful of, right? It's like, well, I can't do that because I just don't know what's going to happen, or
Yeah.
I'd love to go there, but I probably won't find a parking space, so I'm not going to even try.
Yeah.
As far as like, looking to see those higher values that we're aligning with, so that our life, it opens up,
Yeah.
and And again, opportunity, right? So the ace of wands, that's a beginning card, right?
Okay.
And the wands, they represent our spirit.
Okay.
They represent those places of purpose that we align with, and to have opportunities that we can be purposeful in, right? And to again say yes to. And it's like, do you know exactly how it's going to go? No. It's like you don't have to know all the details of it in order to move in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like taking what I'm seeing, right, is because that first layer, of like you with like the 10 of wands and the devil and the initiate, right? It's like, that kind of represents like, your core in that, that you're needing to, take like your what you're responsible for, that, your passion.
Yeah.
And it's instead of just holding on to it, just lugging it around with you everywhere you go, it's about, opening up. It's about sharing. It's about, finding ways to move the energy, that self, that inner self, to move that out into the world. And to, again, it feels like it honors what your experience has been, and it looks to alchemize it, to create it into a higher value.
That's exactly what this event is. It's all the things that I experienced that helped me get to where I am at currently, and it's an opportunity for me to share that with others. And so that's like what's really important for me is just being able to share those different things that I know a lot of people, one, haven't tried, or that also love it too, and to have it all in like one place.
I mean, that's pretty easy, right? Is to have it all accessible in the space, and yet, like what kind of events are taking place? Can you talk about it?
At this one that we're going to be doing? Yeah. So there's you, of course, and then there's my friend Devin Kajuste. He's a ex-NFL player who turned into energy healer stone. He actually wrote it down, but he does crazy grids with stones and like does this sound frequency healing, wild stuff. And then there's Ryan, who's got the Healy and his own energy healing that he's doing, and we have, I believe there's going to be red light therapy, but that's on the fence. But then there's also like the beautification part, like just like the butterfly coming out. When you feel pretty and beautiful, you want to continue to make the decisions that keep that energy flowing. And I think for a while I put off that, and I went back and looked at photos of myself from like years ago. I don't know, I just let everything go, which was great. Like I needed that experience. But now that I've put myself back together and started taking care of myself physically, mentally, like doing my hair, my skin, like there's a glow now that I have, and that reflects out to everyone and to myself, like everything I do. And so I've included that in this, and then also with the arts, like, music, and then I have a podcast thing that's going to be set up so that people can do what we're doing here, and see if maybe that's something that they like to do, or just like have the experience of it. Like, so it's like experience art show mixed with the wellness and like a music event, like kind of like Burning Man. It's like an amalgamation of all those things that
it's Burning Man without the heat and the dust.
So it's and there's going to be acrobats.
Acrobats.
Yeah, acrobats. Literal acrobat. I can't say it, but yeah. It's my dad loves Cirque du Soleil, and he was always blown away and mesmerized by those individuals, and I was like, well, that's magical too. Like that's so I was just like, any art form that came to mind and the person aligned to it, I was like, let's do it. Like that's I sort of allowed for that free flow and letting go of like what you were saying earlier, which is like I let go of what I thought it looked like and allow it naturally and organically to put itself together, and that's where the magic just like ignited in all of it. And so that was really amazing to experience, and also working with others. Like for a while I've been doing this kind of on my own, and with the idea of this event, I was like, I want to co-collaborate. Like I want others to tell me their ideas, and that we can maybe implement them. And if it doesn't work this event, like let's do other events where we can implement those things. And so I've really stepped into the co-collaboration part of this journey, where before I was collaborating with my dad and myself, but not too much external, and where this is like working with a large group of individuals, and it's been really beautiful and harmonious. Like most of my life I've seen a lot of disharmonious relationships in work and stuff, and people arguing and this and that, and I was like, I haven't had that. Like it's been so respectful. We've all been clearly communicating with each other. Everybody's picked up their task, and they've been delegating what they know how to do. And I was like, just telling her, like, whatever's the best thing. If it's not something if you don't want to do it, like tell me, and we'll do something different. So like really honoring and respecting each other, and then also like having people do what they love and that's best for them. Like that's, to me, like that's the gold in it.
That is the goal. And I hope that, as far as, you're having me read Tarot there.
Yeah.
If you ask me to do like some Cirque du Soleil stuff, it's like, okay, now we're going to shoot you out of a cannon. It's like, forget it. I'm out at that point, unless, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, hey, you never know if the mood takes you.
Right? It's like, yeah, why not? After that last reading, it's like, shoot me out of a cannon.
No, it's the other really cool thing is Max the Ancient Crystal Skull. This I'm very, very excited about. He's like one of 13.
Isn't Max famous?
He's like super famous.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like
Max is a famous crystal skull.
Yeah. So I literally, like, Jenna a long time ago, she came to me and she's like, I'm getting this crystal skull, and I was like, that's cool. Like, I had worked with a crystal skull before that, and I was like, oh, they're cool. I didn't realize Max was like this anomaly, enigma, who had like articles and all different. She sent them to me, and I was like, Jenna, like, I thought you just had like a crystal skull from a shop or something.
Right. It's in the display case. It's like, yeah, let's just pull it out here.
Yeah, no, he's from the Temple of the Magician. That's where they found him last. But he's supposed to be connected to Atlantis and all this crazy stuff. They can't figure out how he was made. Like these like 5 different crystal matrices put together, and wild. So that I'm really excited about as well. Like just the magic of each individual piece is just so beautiful. And if I had tried to plan this and had like my strict, like I want this person, I don't think a crystal skull would have popped into my head as like an option. Like it just, I just don't think so.
You have a wide variety of things, though, as far as,
Yes.
from the estheticians
Yes.
to the reading part,
Yeah.
to the sound healing.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I mean, there's something for everyone.
Yes, yeah. And then there's a lounge for people who just want to hang out and drink, no alcohol, but organic, fresh pressed juice, and then these kava drinks that are supposed to be like drinking alcohol with like the relaxed social benefit of it, but without the detriments that alcohol can cause in the body. It's actually more positive to the body than negative.
So does it take away like the social filters?
It's supposed to. I've never actually tried it, so this will be a first for me. Like he said, we do these kava drinks and explain them, and I was like, let's do it.
So I have one more layer to
All
pull
right.
here, and that's just kind of looking ahead,
All
right?
right.
Looking to see how you manifest
Okay.
what it is that you desire, right?
Okay.
This is where the rubber meets the road. But I want you to choose the first card.
Okay.
Don't look at it, just keep it face down.
Okay.
Do you trust yourself?
Yes.
Go ahead and pull a second card.
Keep it.
All right.
Jump on. Okay.
All right, so this is your first card. It's like the High Priestess.
Ah.
For those of you at home. The High Priestess is one who is one of the stronger personalities in the deck. And it's not that. It's like,
Yeah.
Just muscle-bound strength. But it is about the internal process of how we trust our path, how it is that we go deep within our own intuitive self and, go in there and pull out, these parts of ourself that are needing to surface, right? And to trust that what we're given, is part of our overall path. So it's the key aspect of it is trusting your own ability to see the world, to see what's inside of you, and to bring the two together.
Yeah. I definitely feel that.
Let's see what else you pulled here. Love it. Page of Wands, and pages are messengers. The Page of Wands is the communication that we have with our own spirit.
Okay.
That part of ourself, it may not be like a back and forth, verbal dialogue. It can be, right? But usually it's like one that's a lot deeper than that. It's like our spirit, it speaks to us in like a deep knowing, in ways that we have to sometimes really work at it.
Yeah.
And it feels like you've been doing that. You've been
Yes.
working on that process of it. So it's not surprising that, it shows up as part of, it's like where it is that you're heading and how it is that you're activating that self to be more in a place of trusting that process and going deep and really seeing it. This is the third card.
Okay.
The Queen of Pentacles. So it's like, it's the Queen of Pentacles lives in the world, enjoys the world.
Yeah.
She is a personality that likes her creature comforts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If they're going camping, they go glamping.
Yeah.
But it is, is not just so, taken into the physical, enjoys it, but it's balanced out with the the spiritual.
Yeah.
And that's the highest place that we can be in, is where we recognize our inner being, our spiritual self, and then how it is that we're out in the world, how we activate ourselves in the physical, and it looks like you're staying in tune.
Yeah.
There, so that's the best that we can hope for,
Yeah.
is staying in tune.
Yeah. And that requires just paying attention.
Paying attention. Pay attention.
Yes, it's like when you play an instrument, right? And like your guitar, you can tune it one day and it's playing perfectly. And then when you come back, if you don't listen, you won't hear that maybe it went out of tune. And so then you keep playing and you're actually playing a few notes out of tune. So if you're not paying attention or listening, you're just going to keep playing that's a little bit out of tune, and then it'll get more out of tune, and more out of tune, more out of tune, and then you realize, then maybe, but if you're paying attention early on, it was just like working on my tasks. I was telling you, as long as I went after them on this event, like each time I felt like, oh, here's something I can do to get this done and out of the way, and get this done and out of the way. And so it's like, it's the same thing as if I had let all those tasks go, right now would be utter chaos. Like I could get it all done.
Right.
But it wouldn't be a kind of music that I would really like to be playing, where it's like when I go to the horses, I want to be nice and relaxed and calm and enjoy it. And if I had waited and put off all these tasks till today or tomorrow, it would be hard to hear anything really.
Yeah. I mean, do you I've been like an artist in my like past, incarnations of work, not just past life stuff,
Yeah.
although probably,
Yeah.
but in career, and it's like one lives by deadlines,
Yeah.
right? When one sets a date, a time, a date, and one like just does everything in a methodical way,
Yeah.
towards that deadline.
Yeah.
And I like to work that way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that just keeps it, you know, it's almost like what I was saying with that devil card, where instead of it just being, oh yeah, I've got plenty of time,
Yeah.
it's like, nope,
Yeah.
I have this much time,
Yeah.
and I have to get it done.
Yeah, yeah, you never know, like time, like after my accident, you never know when time is going to be changed for you, like this event was fun and something happened, like I've been counting on weeks, I have weeks and weeks, but then all of a sudden something happens where now I don't, like, and so it's, for me, I don't like to consider, I'm like, okay, what can be done now, what needs to be done now, and then it allows for some relaxation. It's like, oh, I've done what I need to do. I can kind of relax in this. So it's interesting. I've had a number of people ask me, like, are you stressed out? Are you worried? I'm like, I look at them like, and for a second I was taken back because I was like, no, I haven't. Was I supposed to be?
Yes. You were supposed to just be frantic. You don't have to be.
Yeah,
right?
no, I learned this. So it's because I've always seen people who put events together that even when I was working on this event, this one lady, she was like, I've got so much to do, I got this event, and I was like, she's so frazzled. I was like, what? I was like, I don't want that. And so, like, and I'm realizing, oh, you don't have, that doesn't have to be the case, right? Things will happen, but it's my choice how I respond to them and what I do and how I handle it. And so that to me is it's a part of like listening to that inner voice that tells me it's like, okay, it's time to do this, or like what feels right for me to do right now. Is it to rest? Is it to move forward on this? Is it like what does Samantha need right now in order to achieve the goals that I set for myself? So that's these really resonate very deeply, and because that's what if you ask me, like looking at the future, that's what I'm working on. The present is to have that communication really dialed in so that I can have those comforts of being able to do those things I love from a very grounded place, but also being able to provide those things for others, and to provide them also how to learn how to communicate with themselves, in a way, and be able to show up so that nobody has to run around like a chicken with its head cut off kind of deal.
Yeah. It's an extension of, again, kind of your experience, right? That
Yeah.
you're showcasing for people,
Yeah.
so that these forms of wellness, they may be gaining, some are like on the periphery, right?
Yeah.
I think like with Tarot, that Tarot, it's known, it's out on YouTube, on
Yeah.
Instagram and all that, but there's still kind of an
Yeah.
air of disrespectability, maybe. I think
Yeah.
there's, and I say that because if I watch like a TV show
Yeah.
or a movie that has a tarot reader or so,
Yeah.
they tend to over dramatize it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like if they pull the death card, then someone's dying.
Yeah.
If they pull the Lovers, someone's getting in the sack with someone, right? And it's used as a vehicle, but it's not like it doesn't reflect most people's lives in all the intensity layers, of relationships, and how one might fear like just stepping outside their door, right? And so like, oh God, they pulled the death card, and it's just like, yeah. And so it's kind of seen, as not like, more mainstream, and that's fine, because I have a lot of fun as a tarot reader.
Yeah.
I can wear my Indian kurtas, and be all, just nicely decked out and make a bit of a splash with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of occupations that you can do that, that are, therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's like, wearing scrubs or something,
Well,
a white coat.
This is very therapeutic. Tarot is like, I, I, I don't, I don't think it's been articulated quite so well, like with people, because they see it as more like, oh, prophesizing or this or that. But it's yes, it can be that, but it's also therapeutic in the sense where it's like this, it's a confirmation as well, and it really can help solidify. Like, it's helped me solidify certain visions that I'm feeling or experiencing, so that I gain confidence in the direction I'm going, which then allows me actually to ultimately move faster to it, because I'm no longer going, oh, is this the, it's like, oh no, like that happened, like that, like, all right, cool, like I'm headed in the right direction, let me give it some more. And so that, like, to me is inherently so valuable. It's been so valuable through my journey, to get to this moment in time.
Yeah, is it prophesying to see patterns in someone's life? If someone, if they say that they want to do something, but each time they have an opportunity, they say, well, no, because of this, or, they hold themselves back from it. And then the next time it's like opportunity, it's like, well, it's like, it doesn't feel like, just the right time.
Yeah.
Is it prophesying to say, it's like, well, I see you, getting opportunities, but you're holding yourself back.
Yeah.
It's like we're creatures of habit too.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to gain awareness, to work on raising our own consciousness about that which is kind of our go-to places, our comfort zones, those places that we've been operating from, and to say, oh, I see what I'm doing in that moment.
Yeah.
It's like we just kind of step back from ourselves and we say, okay, if I can change this, how would I change this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And use that as a starting point.
That's yeah. No, that was literally today. Like, for me, I've been working on better habits of like self-discipline and eating when I'm hungry and not just eating just to eat. And so it was like I could feel those old patterns go, oh, I'm gonna take a bite, and I was like, hey, like, you remember this? And I'm like, oh yeah, just keep going. And then I was driving by the store, and I was like, I just had already had my coffee and my breakfast, but I was like, oh, I could stop at the store and grab something. I was like, but are you really hungry? And I was like, nope, I'm not, so let's just keep driving by the store. And so it's like little things like that, like redirecting to the course. Is like, I know the answers, it's like, but can you in the moment answer the question correctly and make the right action,
Right.
Yeah.
What one layer to that is the path. It's simple before us.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it easy.
No.
As far as like the direction that we usually set forward for ourselves. It can be a simple idea, but it just wrangling ourselves, getting into that place of discipline.
Yeah.
That's always like that area of difficulty.
Oh yeah. It's extraordinary.
Just takes some work.
It does. It does, because it's throughout the day, right? And and when you really sit down, even though 24 hours is very short, it's still a long time. And there's so many different decisions you make throughout the course of your day, hours and minutes and seconds, that, like, if you haven't developed your discipline quite yet, it's so simple, but it's so difficult. And so that energy, you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna have one, and then by the end of the day, you're like, I did this 10 times. I'm like, shit. Like, how did that happen? So, like, it's interesting, that part of it, and it's for me, like, that's, I threw myself in the deep end of, the devil card there, with like the different things, like, bound in chains of like the past stuff, and then what helped me navigate out of it was like, I had already been out of it before, and it's like, I know how to get out of it. And so I threw myself back there, and it's like a reminder of like, you're the one in the driver's seat. You have the power of what decisions you make. Do you remember that? And you know that. So however long you stay in here is all up to you, because you know inherently how to get out of this loop. And so like today was kind of like a big test day of like when I was driving, I was like, I'm like, all right, I got this, I did it. And then like we're sitting here, I still got the rest of the day though. Like the universe is not gonna let up on anything anytime soon. So like I'm just like, okay, after we're done, like I'm gonna have to continue, and it gets easier with time. But when you first pull yourself out of it, the energies from the past, they're heavier, they have more weight to them. And so sometimes it's harder to see past them in the moment, like with the feeling, because it can be more intense. But once you move far enough past it and it becomes more of a habit now than the other one was, then it becomes easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what's a one and done thing, that we do in life. There's very little that is just, we do it once and then that's the new norm, right?
This is true.
It's consistent work, and then we have something that's called ambition in us, and that means that we up the level. We feel like we've got this level mastered, and it's just like, okay, what's next? And then we're having to push ourselves, and also be in that place of uncertainty. We're looking to make the unknown known, and that takes courage. It takes a sense that it's kind of that can do, or that we can look at ourselves in the past and say, well, I did it this way this time. I can either try it that way, or maybe there's another combination of that. But I know I can do it. I know I can get to that next level and succeed in that, and just keep moving.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a professor, I think it was at UCLA, for communications, and I did a paper project, and I failed. But
wait a sec. It's like, and I failed.
Yeah. But the comment that he wrote on my paper was overly ambitious. So I was like, it was a good idea, but I wasn't respectful of where I was at and my abilities of what I could accomplish in the amount of time that we had.
Sure.
And so to me that really stuck with me, because I was like, that's the one. I can't remember any comments on any of my papers other than that one, and I was just like, okay, I need to keep that in mind. Like, it's like, push yourself to the point where you're doing something that's really great, but don't take off more than you can handle and that's by knowing yourself in your current state. And so like that, that's sort of like a guiding that helps keep me in the pocket, so to speak. So I can be in a flow where it's like I push myself enough where it's something that I haven't done before, but I also am aware of my current state and where I've been. And so that I can navigate that area of as you were talking about, that unknown area. And so I can go into that place with a little more trust in myself, because I'm being honest.
Yeah. That's really interesting, because I think that place of alignment, where it's like we see what it is that we're capable of, and also the areas that we're looking to like affect, right? And it's like we look to be effective in that. We look to make progress in it, and one is faced with that choice of either their dream or their goal comes back down to earth a little bit, or they push themselves, they educate themselves, they fine-tune themselves so that they're ready to meet that goal.
Yeah.
And so, what was your solution?
To the paper that was overly ambitious?
No, just to life.
My solution is just being really honest with myself, like knowing that I have the infinite capacity to be better, right? But like I've watched a number of people kill themselves because they can see that they can always be better. So, but it's like honoring how much I know that I can push and where I'm at, so that I can effectively live a more harmonious, balanced life. Because that, to me, that's when I'm in that happy place of like, oh, I'm in this place, like I can push more this time, Or you know what, I'm feeling this right now, I'm gonna relax a little bit because I see how much work I've done, I can kind of take my foot off the brake. So it's like, it really allows for that freedom in the present moment, and really allows for a better understanding of me, for growth and for rest, you know. And so that's really been incredibly important for this moment here.
Yeah, I was in my 30s and I had a major health crisis because I was just pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
You know, I was ambitious,
Yeah.
and I was not taking care of my physical self,
Yeah.
and my stress was just like off the chart.
Yeah.
You know, and what was important was, you know, what was being created at the
Yeah.
time. That's what had the importance to it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to be able to sustain that. And so, you know, when that happens, it's like you have to really pull back,
Yeah.
you know, so you can reclaim your health,
Yeah.
and then find that happy balance of making progress, but, you know, at a rate that isn't going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you're dead, you're dead.
Wise words. Metaphysically speaking, you're in another state, right?
Yeah. It's not over. It's just you just.
But
it's over here.
yeah, as far as the potential, right, to you know, get done what you're going to get done in this life. I mean, it's kind of like
Yeah.
puts a halt to it.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that when I do listen and take that adequate rest, that before, when I used to push, like as you were saying, it was just always push, go. Like I was getting a lot done, but now that I rest, I actually get way more done, because those moments of when I push are far fuller and far more focused, and like I can just go, and it takes less out of me as well. So then I have the capacity to actually do even more than before, where it was just like go. But then, you know, the universe sat me down and broke both my legs and my back and my wrists. I'm a victim. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're not kidding about
I'm
the
not
universe
kidding about the
breaking your
accident.
legs
I'm
and
kidding about
oh
the
my
victim part.
God.
I said that in jest. But like, I needed that experience, because I don't know where I was headed with how far I was pushing and how cavalier I was being with what I was doing. And so I did see it fit to put me in a situation where I had basically to spend 83 days in a hospital bed. So like, it gave me time to think and really reevaluate, and then I had to do what, as you were saying, is get my health in order, and that became the only paramount thing in the world, because without that, I'm no help to anyone, even myself.
That's a very exact number, 83. Did you like make notches in the?
Yes, yeah. Well, when you have all the time in the world and you're stuck in a hospital bed, you're like curious about how many days am I in here, and so I like had a calendar right in front of me, so I just started adding them up, and then I was like 83. But then I ended up, after I got out of the hospital, I found a Monarch Athletic Club, and so I decided to do 25,000 meters a day for 5 days. I ended up doing 83 miles on the rower in 1 week, and then the next week I ended up doing a marathon on the rower. And it was just like, because I had run marathons before my accident, and then after my accident, I was like, well, I can't run anymore, but I want to push myself, because I was starting to feel better in my body. And so like I pushed and I did this marathon staring at a wall with no medals, and a couple individuals that are at the gym. I'm like, you're running a marathon? I'm like, yes. And so like it was something that I needed to do, and 83, so you talk about like 83, like that number has stuck with me. Devon, the NFL player, his number was 83. I dated a baseball player, his number was 38, which is the inverse of 83. So 83 has been a reoccurring numerical sequence, which I think reduces in numerology to 1-1.
Well, 11,
Yeah.
which is like a master number,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I love numerology and numbers. I don't know too much about it, but I do actually use dates and numbers as little bookmarks or little check points.
I think they can be these signposts, you know,
Yeah.
along the path,
Yeah.
you know, that just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because I know that we like to check in to make sure that we're on the right path.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, Tarot is great for that. You know,
Yes.
I can see when someone is veering off.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
You know, that's my job.
Yes.
Is to tell, you know, people what I see in it. But yeah, it's like the signposts can be. There can be other things other than numbers and all
Yeah.
that too. You know, certainly. Yeah.
You're very in tune with the energy of the cards, and I find that, what is it? It's you put it into a different way than most tarot readers do. Like I think it was the other day when we were walking up about messing up the flow of energy, but then you were like, no, it only happens like if you allow that sort of energy to enter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, oh yeah, that's a very powerful and empowered position, because then it's like you ultimately take that power back to yourself, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna flow.
I resonate with that word, empowerment,
Yeah.
much more than power.
Yeah.
You know, because power, it feels, you know, like the person who just looks to have power in their life
Yeah.
is, you know, maybe missing the boat a little bit. You know, as
Yeah.
far as like, because empowering oneself is again like, you know, seeing who it is that you are, recognizing what's at your core, and to you know, to place that self out into the world, and through courage, through you know, involvement, through you know, like getting outside of your own comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, these are necessary for someone to feel like they're making progress
Yeah.
in their life and on their path. I think that path is, you know, I think we're all on the path.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to get into the like, wow, that person's more spiritual than this person and all. They can be just a little bit further down the path. And, you know, we have time as far as our spirit, you know, that eternal quest. It's like we have time to make advancement and all. And, I mean, I really appreciate, you know, your involvement, your pursuit of creating a space for people to recognize their potential, you know, to come into a place of wellness for themselves. I mean, that's really important. It's needed, and I appreciate being a part of that. Yeah. And you know, it's like, you know, I just have to bring a part of it, just a piece of the puzzle. Don't have to be the whole thing, you know. Yeah. And you get to be like the whole thing, right? Because you're like the ringmaster, right? I mean, how do you, what are you going to do on the day?
It's funny. I've been thinking about that, because like everybody's gotten their designated thing, and for me, all my tasks have been to align everybody to the event day.
Yeah.
But then I was like, on the event day, I was like,
what am I gonna do?
I was just like, I also want to like partake in all the things.
Right.
So, but I definitely feel that I'll be interviewing people at the event in the podcast area. I also read energy. So like, I guess it's like a form of mind reading is what I was told by the magician. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably be just doing that and teaching others how to do it. That's the fun skill that I sort of have been navigating. Is it's great that I can do it, but like, can I teach somebody else how to do it?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like you pick up a guitar and you go, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn.
Yeah.
It's like, doink.
Yeah. Well, I taught Ryan how to do it on the podcast, and that was really cool. He was able to describe this person physically, and like it was. I'm not the best when it comes to like tuning into somebody that I don't know and telling you exactly how they look physically.
Right.
Like because I get caught up in what people think they look like versus what they actually look like. So that sometimes it's hard for me to differentiate the difference, and that's probably my own internal work that I need to work on, is differentiating what I actually look like versus what I think I look like. So like I've been working a lot of like body dysmorphia and understanding like what that feels like. So if you ask me, that's the reason I have a hard time with that, where Ryan clearly sees, to me looking at it, he sees how he is and then can also see how somebody is currently physically as they are.
Are you like doing these makeovers, these mental makeovers of somebody? It's like, yeah, I know you look like that, but you should look like this because that's the winning formula.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I might be doing that. You know, I'm gonna let the day kind of just take me away and see, because I do actually enjoy not knowing what's gonna happen, and I used to not plan anything, and I was like, a little bit of structure is definitely a good idea.
As an event, absolutely.
Yeah. So I've put I've allowed this event to have some structure, like a time and a date and a place, and like where people are going to be and what's going to be happening. But like, such as yourself, you're going to have a schedule, and it's going to be yours to fill out and yours to do how you see fit. Like, and each individual that's going to be there, like, I want them to, if you want to take a couple hours off, like, by all means, it's your schedule. You're going to block out the times. You're going to let people fill it in.
Have you ever seen like a tarot reader at an event?
No.
They never get time. There's never like an empty space.
This is true.
It's like people line up.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody told me the exact same thing. He was like, we had a tarot reader at the wedding, and he goes, the line was just like out the door, and I was like, oh wow. And so now you're saying that, I was like, well.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I am grateful. Come and see me, and I'll read you. Yeah, and you know, it's like I work for hours and hours and hours on end.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
Just wired for it, and I like people.
That's great that you. There are some people that read tarot, and you can clearly tell that they do not like the people.
I know some of those people. I've worked with them, but yeah, I'm not that person. I like people. Do you like people?
I do.
Okay, I mean that's.
Yeah.
That's an important question, you know.
It is, especially
Yeah.
if I want to work with people. Like, I think it's important
Yeah.
that I actually like and enjoy people. I've thought about it. I was like, do I just want to stay around the horses for the rest of my life? And I was like, that would be great, but I actually really do like people and love interacting with different people and getting to talk with them and do all that. So I feel like I go back to the very beginning, my life would be less fulfilled without having relationships and connections with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. So what is the name of the room that I'm inhabiting
What
on the
would you
day?
like to name it?
The Dragon Lair.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give it a wizardy theme.
I like it.
Yeah, the Dragon Lair.
That works for me. I'll make
Oh,
sure.
but it's Alice in Wonderland themed, isn't it?
She goes into the magical forest, and there's a bunch of different signs. So one of the arrows will just say Dragon Lair, and so you'll be set. It's because it's Alice in Wonderland. On the title it says Alice in Wonderland inspired. Keyword inspired.
Is it so Lewis Carroll doesn't come after you?
I didn't think about it.
In spirit?
In my sleep.
In your sleep?
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time I've been harassed by a famous author in my sleep. So
That's a whole other podcast.
The Dragon's Lair. I have an affinity for dragons. Before my accident, I actually drew and painted 4 of them. And so dragons, I did one for each direction, north, south, east, west.
Did they have different personalities, different qualities
Yes.
about them?
Yeah. The red one was definitely more aggressive looking one. The blue one had a much gentler, softer kind of nature to it. The orange one had this like sleek, cool, like you can see it's well aware of its surroundings. And then I have the gold one that I'm still working on, that's not finished, but that one is it's a mystery. That one it's interesting. You can see that it knows itself but it's definitely there's an air of mystery and intrigue to that gold dragon that I'm working on.
Can be a part of yourself that is that unknown part of your own potential that is blossoming.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
you haven't quite like come into it yet, but you're moving in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think the idea of dragons, you know, it's like the Eastern or the like the Chinese, you know, the Asian aspect of them is way different than the European.
Yeah.
You know, the European idea of them is that they're these forces of evil and destruction and all. And in the Asian cultures, it's they're wise, they're healers. You know, they can affect real positive change.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. So that's where more I'm at with it.
I like dragons there. It is.
Yeah.
Now you've given me an idea. Now I want to name everybody's room. I'll have to text everybody after this and be like, all right, so what do you want to name?
Are you just creating more work for yourself, though?
Well, it's maybe I need the work, right?
Well, again, we go back to that 10 of Wands where it's like, I don't have enough work. I need more.
It's, you know, hey, it's loaded up as comfortably as I can. But I definitely like that idea. It adds to the space, right? Like then there's more of an actual emotional connection to the room that they're entering, right? And they're more likely to remember that room with that name attached to it because it creates that reality of it. So
yeah, there's more selfies of people. It's like, yeah, I just visited the dragon's lair and got my tarot cards read by a wizard.
Exactly.
By a wizard. Hashtag wizard.
I love it. It's definitely perfect.
Well, if you had a hashtag, what would it be?
It's the first thing that came was just MAWF, my foundation hashtag.
MAWF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The MAWF. It's kind of like butterfly and mafia. The moth.
The moth.
The moth
right?
And the mafia mixed together.
It's the mafia?
the moth. Because it's moth, like a flying insect, and then mafia.
Butterflies and moths aren't the same,
no, they're
though.
not. But they do go through the same process of being a caterpillar to a chrysalis to a flying insect.
But most people don't go, oh, a butterfly, and want it to land on them. If a moth is coming towards them, it's like, ah, ah.
Yeah. And maybe that's my alter ego.
Is a moth?
Yeah, like I'm the butterfly, but my alter ego is the moth.
Did you really want that to come out in a podcast? It's like, everyone, world, my alter ego is a moth.
It's beware in the night of light. I'll come for you.
You know, there were no moth cards in here.
No.
You know, just butterflies.
Butterflies are good. I prefer the butterfly.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to
I think we covered it
Yeah.
with like all the alter ego stuff and the, you know. Can I name my website?
Yes. Yeah. Any
All right.
people can get a hold of you.
All right. So again, I've written 2 books, Magic Channel Tarot Reading with the Tarot Wizard.
It's a good book.
And Samantha approves of it. Did you read Tarot Circles and Cycles? You started it.
I started it, and then I started flipping through and actually picking pages. Like I went like with my eyes closed, and then landed on a page so I could pick cards.
It's like
and
the I
read 'em.
Ching, right?
The what?
Like the I Ching.
Oh no, I don't know. I've heard of it, but enlighten me.
So it is like, you know, like one of those books that you can just open up the random. But you bring up a good point, which is that you can give yourself like a reading, right? By just going to the book. I just actually pick up the book and do that and say, oh, the 2 of Pentacles, you know. And
That's actually one that I picked.
get out of town.
No. Yeah.
See? Wizard.
Yes.
Hashtag wizard.
Yes.
My website, jasondmckean.com, JASONDMCKEAN.com. But it's that on Facebook, Instagram, Jason Terrell Wizard on Instagram.
Yes.
And if you look up hashtag wizard, I might be there somewhere in there because I always like put in it.
We'll make it happen. On the day of the event, we'll make sure that everybody hashtags wizard, and then you'll just have like a whole laundry list of.
Yeah. That's what I want. It's a long laundry list.
Yes. All right.
Thank you, Samantha.
Yeah, thank you. This was amazing. That was a great read. That was very helpful and definitely on point. So,
You're very welcome. And are you announcing the date for this specific event?
yes, again, it's June 17th. My headphones are falling off. At 11:30 to 6. You can show up anytime you like, but I say that showing up earlier is probably more conducive to if you want to get tarot reading, because apparently he said lines occur.
Man, yeah, it's like fighting the crowds. Be there early and get in there. But oh my God, free food, free organic, like food, and the drink sounds amazing, and it's a wonderful space. It's just so amazing. Yeah. So much energy, creative energy.
Yeah,
love it.
So, all right, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.